See, just like Allah is saying there, He says that if you like Islam, if you follow Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it's like you're following me. You know what I mean?
So I'm asking you this then. Can we say La ilaha illallah only?
No.
Can we say that?
Of course you can.
There is no condition.
You don't have to say it all the time.
Of course you can say it.
You can
but I'm
say
saying
it,
the Shahada is...
Okay, that's different.
This is what he's saying though. Of course you can say La ilaha illallah. Of course you can. Of course.
But not alone.
But that's not your...
When you make tasbih, you're making la ilaha
You know,
illallah.
of course, that's a different subject. We're talking about your Shahada.
We're saying, can there be Islam without Rasulullah? Can there be belief in just Allah and not Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
Of course not.
That's
You
what
can
we're
be a
saying.
Muslim if you just say La ilaha illallah.
If you believe in the oneness of God, you're
But
a Muslim.
without
That's the
Rasulullah.
beginning of it.
But you
Muhammad
don't.
Rasulullah.
That comes with it. It's like what you're saying.
It
It's
has to
connected,
come
immediate. Of course it is.
But you have to declare both.
Of course
You have to
When you
negate
make
all
sure
other
that
gods.
it's
What if one person declares La ilaha illallah but not Muhammad Rasulullah?
can't be a
Can he be a
Muslim.
Muslim?
If he's believing in the oneness of God, that's the
But
beginning.
no Muhammad Rasulullah.
Yes,
He's not a Muslim.
He cannot become Muslim.
to a good degree.
One who
I don't
denies,
think so.
one who
That's
denies
not-
any,
not
one
so
second.
extreme, not to that extreme.
Absolutely.
To that
right.
extreme, of course. One who
Because-
denies any of the pillars of Iman has no Iman.
That's true.
Any of the. If he
Yeah.
denies the angels and he believes in Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he believes in everything, but he denies the angels, he is not considered
Of course.
a full.
To deny is different. But hala, if he comes to Islam and admits that yep, there's one God, I
No,
believe
we're
in
talking
one
about
God,
That's
denying.
not enough.
Not
And then-
accepting at all.
But
What
then
you're saying,
in
Leon, is
time,
this.
comes
At the
to
time of Ibrahim alayhi salam,
Yeah.
we could still say La ilaha illallah, or we'd say
Ibrahim alayhi salam.
Ibrahim alayhi salam
Ibrahim
as
Rasulullah.
Rasulullah.
Well, if you
We
want to
could say
become
Isa alayhi salam, for example, of that time, but we could still say the La ilaha illallah. But what we're saying, Islam is now completed for us by saying La ilaha illallah,
Can't go on
Muhammad
with that.
Rasulullah.
Of course, I understand that.
If you make Shahada, you can't make Shahada with just
With that,
that.
of
It's
course.
impossible.
Yes, it is necessary, and it is self-evident that the all-generous one of beauty, who fills the universe with so many bounties, should want thanks for or from his conscious creatures in return for his bounties. And clearly, that all-wise one of glory, who adorns the universe with so many miracles of art, will make the most excellent of conscious creatures his addressee and his interpreter. He wants thanks. But people come into the palace, they don't know what to do. They're just looking around in bewilderment. Then the guide comes. He says, all of this art is for this purpose. These rooms have been separated for that particular purpose. This telephone is for this reason. If you do this, this is good, this is bad. The king wants to convey a certain message. This is what he wants from you. He wants you to do this and this and that. Now, the purpose of the palace is known. The purpose in which he was there is known.
The value is
The
there.
value of the creator's arts are known. The value of the king is known because of the interpreter is there. One who adorns the universe with so many miracles of art will make the most excellent of conscious creatures, which is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He will make him his addressee, and he will make him his interpreter. He will make him his herald and leader of his servants. And he certainly and self-evidently that all beauteous one of perfection, who makes the universe reflect the innumerable manifestations of his beauty and his perfections, will give the most perfect worshipful stance to the one who is the most comprehensive and perfect measure and means of displaying his beauty, his perfections, his names and his arts. The reason in which Muhammad was chosen is because he displays Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's names, his beauty, his perfections in the best manner, because he was the best manner. He was the best in conduct. He was the best in worship. He was the greatest leader. He was the most beautiful. He was the most generous. He was the most merciful. He was the most compassionate towards human beings. He was the most learned. Whatever it takes, every character that is of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's own attribute is given but is reflected in the mirror of his life and his living, of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam living. So it's like this. Let's say I want to know Allah. What is the best way to know Allah? The best way to know Allah is through Rasulullah. Because no one can live. He lived Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's names. I want to know how merciful Allah is. Then look at Rasulullah. Look at the way in which he conducted himself and
if you
how
just have the
merciful he
Quran
was towards humanity.
without the human guide, it's still open to interpretation. You know what I mean?
That's right, that's right. But forget the interpretation part. The importance of the universe, the importance of the Quran, the importance of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam are all interjoined with one another.
Absolutely.
You separate one from the other, the whole thing collapses.
There's no competition amongst them.
Of course not. It's a completion of one another. It works in.
There's no priority when it comes to this. Like, for example, if you're bringing someone to Islam, yeah, and Allah says many times in the Quran and Hadith that to be a believer, you believe in the oneness of Allah. Isn't that the first? And then obviously for us Muslims, yeah,
what is
that's combined. It's immediate. Like we believe in Allah, we believe that the Rasul is the best interpretation of Islam. Yeah.
Yeah. What is the question? Is this?
So for
what
me,
is
for me, now I need to know for myself if I'm going to bring someone into Islam, I can't always, because I talk about it a lot, right? So I can't now say from what you're saying, I can't only say that there is. That to come into Islam, you have to believe that there is oneness of God. I have to add also Sayyidina Muhammad to that statement.
Look, this is what we're saying. What you're saying, I understand. You're saying there is a method in which to bring people to Islam. First of all, is to talk about the unity and the beauty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of course. Then, from there, when the person loves Allah, you say the person, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has conveyed this message through His prophets.
Of course, perfect. That's
right? And then after the prophets, you say, well, these were backed up by the angels which came and get da-da-da.
Yes.
And then that corroborates and proves this point of the Day of Judgment, and that proves Qadr, and that proves everything.
The oneness of Allah is still priority.
Oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always a priority.
That's the whole.
Because I got worried, I always use that statement.
Bro, it's not a priority.
But that is...
Hold on. It's
one
not
second,
priority.
This is the system of propagation, but that's different. When it comes to Iman itself, the guy says, okay, I've heard what you've said, and I want to believe now. I want to believe. The condition of your belief, you're going to say straight away, is not, you don't say, okay, just believe in Allah now, and then after 2-3 weeks I'll tell you about Rasulullah. It doesn't work like that. You say, your creed and your being a Muslim is reliant on you accepting the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as being the messenger and the servant of Allah.
Of course.
So that works like together. You
But-
can't separate them.
But all of the other factors, they lead to the Tawheed. It's not a priority like this is first, that's second.
Rasulullah
All of those
proves
other
the
things-
unity of Allah.
All
That's
of those
what he
other
does.
things you're talking about is what's pushing you towards Tawheed.
So if someone says
So
to
Muhammad
you,
Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is here only to tell you about the oneness of God at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
Of course.
that's right. If someone says, okay, explain me Allah, and you start talking, they go, hang on a sec, who's telling you this? You say, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So they say, well, who is he? First of all, if I want to hear about your God, who's the guy talking about?
Yeah, but
See how
God talks about Himself.
But who does he tell?
You know what I mean? He's talking to the Prophet, obviously in the
Yeah,
Quran.
so
That's
the
what
Prophet
whole
is telling
Quran's
us,
about.
say, oh Muhammad,
So that's
tell
Allah
them.
talking.
So we are
The
saying,
method
What we
you're
learn
talking
from the
about.
Prophet is the way he lived it.
That's
How
right.
it
But
was
you're
interpreted.
saying that like, the method is to talk about the unity of Allah. That is the method of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Of course.
He put that method through.
Yeah.
He's
So
But
that's
for
his
Allah
so by
telling you-
doing that, you're doing the sunnah. You're propagating the sunnah.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the creed, where it says, okay, I'm ready for Iman, the Iman necessitates that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is synonymous with Allah's existence.
So if you were bringing someone to Islam and you were talking about Islam, you wouldn't only talk about the oneness of Allah. You'd
combine
combine
it
both
together,
of them off the
100%.
bat.
100%. 100%. First you say,
It doesn't
you prove,
mean
you
like
prove
that
the
all the
existence
time.
of
off
God.
each other.
Yeah.
Depends, man.
Because I never do, because I don't want to make it too...
Well, let me tell
You know
you.
what I mean?
Let me tell you this way. First of all, if they are willing and they're accepting, okay, you first have to explain to them and make them understand Allah first. Once they get the gist of Allah, then they say, okay, how do we know what you're telling me? How do you know this? And then you say, okay, I need to explain to you now in detail how we learnt, how Allah sent us this message.